The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that's doomed.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
Oh, let's get to it. It's Thursday, the 7th day of May, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman. It is, as some of you call it, Friday Junior. Yeah. The day before some of you all's favorite day of the traditional work week. Hopefully you've had a wonderful week so far. We have a conversation to have today. Oh yes, we do. So greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Bishop Dr. Carlton Crockwell of Victory Kingdom Worship Center on. We're going to be discussing their upcoming conference. It's called Unlocking Your Full Potential in God. So really looking forward to this conversation. The Daily Play is going to be a Name That Place today. And I think it's a pretty cool one. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool one. Audience, do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump right into it. And we've got James Burgess says, good morning to the Daily Hour team show and your guest. I'm watching and listening. We appreciate you, James. Suzanne Ingham says, good morning, Jamal. It's a super awesome Thursday to be alive and be in TDH's house with you, Jamal. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. We've got good morning, TDH family from our good brother, Kenton Trott. All right, folks. Well, got a conversation to have. This one keeps coming up, and it's not going away anytime soon. I'm speaking about cannabis laws. Once again, we're seeing cruise visitors being fined for bringing cannabis into Bermuda, often claiming they didn't know it was illegal. And every time this happens, the debate starts all over again. Some people say this is hurting Bermuda's image. It could cost us tourism dollars. The world is changing. Cannabis is legal in many places now. Others say something much simpler. Know the law of the land. Respect it. But here's the reality. Bermuda has already taken steps. Cannabis is decriminalized for small possession up to 7 grams, I believe. But it's not legal. And importation, whether by plane or cruise ship, is still a criminal offense. That's the key part many visitors miss. You might be able to smoke it where you come from, but bringing it into Bermuda, that's where the law comes down hard. Now, here's where it gets more complicated. The Bermuda government actually passed legislation to legalize cannabis, but it was blocked by the United Kingdom because Bermuda is still a British overseas territory and must follow international treaty obligations. So what we have right now is a country that has partially reformed its laws, but doesn't have full control to go further. And that creates tension because on one hand, yes, visitors should absolutely respect Bermuda's laws. On the other hand, if the rest of the world, especially major tourism markets like the US, is moving in one direction, at what point does Bermuda have to ask, are our laws aligned with the reality of modern travel? Perception matters. Tourists don't always distinguish between decriminalized, illegal, or importation laws, right? They just see, I can have this at home. Why am I being fined here? So we have to ask, do we adapt or do we hold the line? Do we find a way to relax laws for simple possession, especially for visitors, or stand firm and say, no, if you're coming here, you follow our rules, period. It's really not just about cannabis. Last week, you all were out celebrating the king. This is about sovereignty. This is about the impact it could have on tourism and how Bermuda positions itself in a changing world. Folks, your question of the morning, very simple, and feel how you feel. What are your thoughts on cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? We're going to take this quick break, give it a thought. We'll be back to get into that discussion, brought to you by Titan Express and Secure.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
All right, audience, what are your thoughts? Every year, time and time again, we read the news, we listen to the news, we hear the news that visitors on cruise ships are being charged and fined in our very court system. Does Bermuda need to get up with the times and just say, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. Can Bermuda really do that? Because we are, a British overseas territory, which based on last week, everyone seems okay with, right? What direction do we go? What are your thoughts on this? And here's your poll today. I'll give you two. Do you think visitors should be exempt for cannabis possession for personal use? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Again, you have to just type 1 for yes and just type 2 for no. But do you think visitors should be exempt for cannabis possession for personal use? Do you think that they shouldn't be charged? They shouldn't be fined? What are your thoughts this morning on cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? Let us know. We've got 911 Island Girl says, we don't need to keep tweaking rules to accommodate others. The U.S. doesn't relax its laws because we want to travel there. The law is the law. Know before you go. No argument from me. I completely understand you, 911 Island Girl. Dr. Anthony Richardson says the policy underlining its use is confusing that the average person cannot understand. This being the case, how can we expect a tourist to understand the policy and law? Clarity. I agree with you. Clarity is necessary. It's necessary. Sean Smith says, good day, fam. You can buy weed anywhere in the world, so it's no need to bring it with you. Well, here's what's confusing, though, Sean Smith. So I get the importation laws. You're not allowed to bring it into Bermuda, right? but you're allowed to have 7 grams. But where can you purchase it? Like, there's nowhere to purchase it legally. So the law doesn't make sense to. Can someone make sense of that to me? Maybe because I'm never been a weed buyer or weed smoker, I don't understand it. But is there a legal way to get something that you're allowed to possess, a certain amount of? Because if not, it makes no sense to me, right? Does that make sense, audience? Is it just me? Help me out. Again, what are your thoughts? We're discussing the fact that time and time again, visitors to Bermuda, mainly via cruise, continue to go before our courts and get fined for possessions of marijuana, mainly for personal use. Now, clearly, it has been decriminalized. I think it's under 7 grams, but it is not legal. And importation is a criminal offense. Okay? And if you want to know where to go, I'll share a link. For those who are tuned in online, I'm going to share a link where you can go and you can post it on your social media pages. But it's legalclarity.org, right? And you can search Bermuda, but I put the link. You can, if you're on Facebook or YouTube or thedailyhour.com, you can click that link. You can see the link. But that gives some clarity as to what the current laws are. Now, what's happening? Again, cruise visitors continue to be fined, going before our courts. Some claim lack of awareness, personal or medical use. Now, I've never caught a cruise to Bermuda. I'm not quite sure what they're told. But I know me, if I'm traveling somewhere, when we went to Kenya, or when I went to Mauritius or South Africa, you want to know the laws of the lands. I had someone go to Bali recently. They had to know the laws of the land. You go to some of these countries, and what was the basketball? Was it Brittany Griner, right? The basketball player was it Russia? You see what happened there. You want to make sure, because they're lucky they just came to Bermuda and it's $1,000 fine, right? Yeah, there's so much to this conversation, though. Again, audience, your poll, do you think visitors should be exempt for cannabis possession for personal use? And what are your thoughts on cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? Like, do you think that it may cost us tourism? Do you think we just need to hurry up and change our laws? What are your thoughts? We've got Suzanne Ingham says, bottom line is know the laws of the land to where you visit concerning your cannabis before you go. That's my opinion. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Charles H. Jeffers II says, I agree with Dr. Richardson. The law surrounding this is confusing. Many Bermudians are confused. So how can we expect visitors to know? Well, here's the thing for me. I still don't know the answer. If cannabis is illegal in Bermuda, right? If it's illegal, and this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. If it's illegal in Bermuda, where do those who are abiding by the law, who have less than 7 grams, getting it from? Because isn't the sale illegal? I help me understand that, mate. You all know I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So help me understand what I am missing. Because not only does the law lack clarity, in my opinion, but it seems to make no sense based on my understanding. But it could be just me. It could be just me. But what are your thoughts, audience, on cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? And the poll, it looks like, man, you all are one way. So we asked, do you think visitors should be exempt for cannabis possession for personal use? And wow, it looks like someone says yes. I would like to know, those who say yes, why is it a yes? And those who say no, why is it a no? I'd love to get some insight from you. Why is it a yes? Why is it a no? And here's the second part. Here's the second poll of the morning. All right. So we've got the first poll. It looks like the majority of you say visitors should not be exempt, right? But here's the second poll. Let's start the second poll. Which of the following do you agree with as it relates to cannabis possession? Visitors need to know the law. That's 1. Or 2, Bermuda needs to adapt. Which of the following statements do you agree with as it relates to cannabis possession? 1, visitors need to know the law. Or 2, Bermuda needs to adapt. Folks, I wonder if I can press a number because I have an answer for this. Well, I don't want to share it before you all start sharing your poll. But I'm 50-50 on this one. I'm 50-50 on this one. So like the responses so far, I'm 50-50. But 1, for visitors need to know the law. 2, Bermuda needs to adapt. And I'll tell you why I'm 50-50 on this. I feel like all of us have a responsibility to know the laws of the land of where we're going. I do. I feel like we can't disrespect the law or use ignorance as an excuse. However, I think all of us would agree, if we're honest, Bermuda needs to adapt in more ways than one. So let's go back to the audience. What are your thoughts on cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, it makes no sense and I'm a lawyer. Maybe I'm too bright. So you agree with me that if the law says that someone can have up to 7 grams of cannabis, but yet the sale, the importation, right? And overall, cannabis is illegal. So how does that person with the 7 grams get it legally? You got what it makes no sense. 9/11 Island Girl says it's a no from me because I believe everyone should function daily with a clear head. For medical, I think medical doctors can control. Look, at the end of the day, I don't drink. I've never been a smoker. But I do dabble in THC or CBD for my sleeping. I don't remember what it's like to be drunk, but I don't miss it. I don't care what people do. I don't care if you drink. I don't care if you smoke. I believe adults should be able to be responsible and do what they do. I don't police people. Where it becomes an issue for me is when you put others at risk. Oh, fine, you go ahead, drink. But don't allow your drinking to impact the lives of others. Go ahead, smoke your stuff. But don't allow, like, I shouldn't have to smell your stuff down the hallway or next door or in the public streets. You feel me? Do that in the privacy of your own space. I don't care, honestly. Legalize. With education, I think we should be okay. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, know the laws of the land, and if your cannabis before you go. Yeah. WKD Lama says, if personal use, and they will less likely to interact with local dealers, which may be dangerous. Okay, I think what WKD Lama is saying here, if it's for personal use, they are less likely to deal with locals to buy cannabis from for their own safety. That's what I think they're saying. 1A Crockwell says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it is illegal to possess 7 grams, but rather decriminalized. Yes, correct. Which is an important distinction. Yes, you are correct, 1A Crockwell. It is, I don't know if I shared that link, you all. Yes, I did. I shared the link. So there are penalties for possession of more than 7 grams from decriminalized Bermuda. So it is decriminalized. Did I say legal? If I did, forgive me. It is decriminalized, 7 grams or less. Yes. And that was of December 2017, was it? when was that? Yeah, since December 2017, possessing 7 grams or less of cannabis is not a criminal offense. In Bermuda, the law did not create a civil fine or ticket system for this amount. Instead, it simply removed the criminal sanction. If police find you with 7 grams or less, you will not be arrested or prosecuted for simple possession alone. That said, police retain the authority to seize any amount of cannabis from anyone, even amounts under the 7-gram threshold. An officer who finds cannabis on you can confiscate it, weigh it, and test it. If police suspect you intend to sell or have committed any other offense, your home, car, boat can be searched, even if the amount is under 7 grams. The Director of Public Prosecutions also keeps the discretion to prosecute if the evidence points to an intent to supply. And that's from the website legalclarity.org. Folks, again, I would encourage anyone to use that website if you intend on traveling. And I'm not just talking about cannabis. So many people take different kinds of drugs that may be illegal in other countries. It could be for ADHD. It can be for anxiety. It could be for a number of things. All right. Let's go through these last few comments. Again, which of the following from the poll do you agree with as it relates to cannabis possession? 1, for visitors need to know the law. 2, for Bermuda needs to adapt. And what are your thoughts on the cruise visitors being fined for cannabis possession? This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II says, I don't think it would ultimately cost us tourists unless, of course, they are mistreated by authorities and treated like a common criminal. We've got James Burgess says, are they taking a chance bringing it in to try to beat the law? Charles added another option. He said, Bermuda needs to clarify the law. I know this isn't an option, but I think clarity is first step. I agree. I think so. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, tourists must abide by our laws, whatever those laws happen to be. We've got Triple Platinum 3X says, decriminalization of weed is to not allow someone to be criminalized for the rest of their life. The colonizers need to allow us to pass our laws. That ain't got. You all love the colonizers. You love the king. That's not going to happen in our lifetime. Get comfortable. You're in for a real ride. Yeah. 9/11 Island Girl says, you make an excellent point. Many people are not responsible. So some form of policing is required. Honestly, I agree 100% with you. I think I would love to see us have more relaxed laws, but we just have an irresponsible population. That's not a criticism. It's all reality, right? She goes on to say, don't do what will get you in trouble with the law and with your decisions. Yeah, I agree. Manuela says, I don't think anyone would reveal where a visitor would acquire cannabis, but where there is a will, there is a way. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, what if you import 6 grams and want to sell it? See, you're bringing that lawyer stuff. Maybe we need, which ministry oversees this? Would this be national security, folks? We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, people still think and act as if it's legal. Absolutely. Absolutely. BDA Horse Trainer 8942 says, relaxing the law has caused infringing on the rights, on others' rights and more impaired driving. And that's because we're not a responsible people. That's what it is. Charles H. Jefferson II says, for those who say they should know the law, ask 10 people today and ask how many actually know the law. I think this is a great comment to stop on. If we expect tourists to know the law, after, again, audience, if you have a chance, if you have a minute, please go to that website, legalclarity.org. I shared the link that will take you directly to what it says about Bermuda's laws. And after you read it, please reach out to me, send me an email. Let me know if everything makes sense to you on there. The final poll results from the second poll, which of the following do you agree with as it relates to cannabis possession? Most of you said, 83% of you said visitors need to know the law, and 17% said Bermuda needs to adapt. I know what Dr. King said about neutrality, but I have to take a neutral position here because I do believe it is our responsibility to know the law where we're going. But I also do believe that Bermuda needs to adapt. Now, I can't put that blame on the government because you all don't want sovereignty, and for very just reasons. But our government needs to be clear. I know I said ignorance is not an excuse, but the government needs to provide clarity. Folks, this was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Let's show them some love, and then we'll take a quick, well, I got to give you the days of the year before we take a quick break, and then we've got Dr. Carlton Crockwell coming on. We're having a conversation, unlocking your full potential in God.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
Audience, I just want to tell you the story that I was coming from with this discussion this morning. There was something much bigger than cannabis in possession. They found a bullet. Yeah. Ammunition. And the visitor said that it was their grandfather's bag and they didn't know they had it in there. We're going to have a conversation about that because I don't know. I'm not a cruise guy. I haven't been on a lot of cruises. I haven't been on one since 2009. Before that, 1999. So, I don't know. But I don't know if they ask the same questions like when you're taking an airplane, right? And you say, have your bags always been with you? Did you pack your own bags? I don't know what they do. But that's irresponsible. I'm not traveling with no bag and I'm not looking all through it. Folks, I travel so often, I'm always in there making sure my receipts, making sure, when I'm cleaning it out, when I finally get through it, that I didn't miss some dirty underwear that needs to go in the washer. I don't know. With what the havoc that firearms are causing in Bermuda, read the story. I'm sure the Royal Gazette's probably got it up now. Anyway, we've got to give you a days of the year real quickly. So today is the 7th day. It's 7th day of May, right? Yeah, the 7th day of May. It is, look at it. National Tourism Day, National Day of Prayer, Cosmopolitan Day. I think that's a drink. World Password Day, Roast a Leg of Lamb Day, Make a Book Day, Packaging Design Day. You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with National Day of Prayer. Audience, if you're a believer in prayer, if you could pray for one thing right now for Bermuda, what would it be? What would your one prayer for Bermuda be? If I had one prayer for Bermuda, I would probably pray for a more or less selfish group of people. If I had one prayer for Bermuda, I would pray for us to be less selfish. That's to say, I think that we are individually selfish people. We only care about us as individuals. I don't even think we care about our friends, family, and the greater community. Like I've had people say to me, that stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. I go to work every day, make my money. My IB colleagues, like there's literally more than two Bermudas. So my prayer, if I had a prayer, it would be for us to be less selfish. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson's prayer would be peace for Bermuda. Polly Rich says unity. Sean Smith's prayer would be to go independent in my lifetime. All right. Well, folks, let's take our first break. After this break, we're going to welcome Bishop Dr. Carlton Crockwell in the house. We're going to be discussing an event they have coming up. It's going to be helping people to unlock their full potential in God. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workforce for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old, while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carry Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
You wanna come get some? Playing around. I got it, no doubt.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamal Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and Big Love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks. We're just waiting on Dr. Carlton Crockwell. We'll have him on the show in a minute. But I did ask for folks, it's National Day of Prayer. What would your prayer for Bermuda be? We've got Suzanne Ingham says, unity among Bermudians. We've got 9/11 Island Girl says, my prayer would be for the community spirit that my parents experienced within their youth. We would all be better off with everything one could possibly think of. Indeed. Indeed. How did we lose the community spirit? That's a question, right? All right, folks. Well, without further ado, let's give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest for the day. We've got Bishop Dr. Carlton Crockwell. Got a very special event coming up. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome.
Sir.
Greetings, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You make me sound like I'm close to the king, Bishop Doctor, but I like Carlton. So, my auntie named me Carlton, so please break that down. And unless you're going to salute to me and, do all that to me for me and have red carpet out, Carlton's fine.
We may just do that next time. So, no, I gotta actually, before we jump into the meat of the conversation,
sure.
This should be easy for you. But I did ask the audience if they had one prayer for Bermuda, what would it be as it's National Prayer Day? So what would your prayer for Bermuda be?
I wrote it down. And my response is that we slow down and go back to our core values as a country. Slow down. I think we're going extremely fast. We're not understanding things. We're not writing the laws properly. But the core values brought you and I up and others before us. And those values are still important today. Slow down, Bermuda. Pray that we get back to our core values. And even the people coming in the country that are not Bermudians, it does not mean we have to introduce their values to our culture. Let them understand our culture and get used to how we operate. So that's my prayer that I would give to Bermuda.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And before we jump into the conversation about the upcoming event, just for the audience's sake, for those who may not know, just give them a bit about your background, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Well, I do a couple things. The most important thing that I do in this case, I'm a pastor of Victory Kingdom Worship Center. It is my responsibility to oversee the spiritual aspect of those that attend the church and ensure that they understand the values of the Bible and ensure that we follow the word of God. And that's the core value of my life, is taken from those. And our motto that I believe in is everyone matters to God. It doesn't matter to me if you are drunk, an alcoholic. It doesn't matter if you are doing the sorts of things that you don't want to tell nobody about, but you still matter to God. So if you matter to God, you must matter to me. Like this morning, 5 o'clock this morning, I'm at my church, but feeding the homeless, but feeding the unsheltered, but feeding those that go work but can't afford an apartment. You know, we give them showers. They get to come get the showers, the clothes washed, and the foods. They get food. Everyone matters. And I don't ask. They come in there and they might had a rough night last night. They'll sit in my office and talk. So my core value as an individual, don't ever let me forget where I came from. Because I remember my mom had 7 children and she worked hard. My siblings, my older siblings, worked hard to ensure that we was at least getting fed and had a good education. So those values to me are important. That's the Carlton Crockwell. Maybe some people don't know about. They know me as a businessman also. But the core, if you get to know me, my job is to help you and don't forget my upbringing.
Indeed, indeed. Let's transition to the upcoming conference.
Sure.
It's centered around unlocking your full potential in God. What is the vision behind this theme?
Sure. The vision behind the theme is simple. Bermudians need to know who they are and what value they have they can bring to the table. A lot of our Bermudians colleagues that I know or other people that I come across, they sit there and they come church and they will sit there for an hour or sometimes 2 or sometimes 3. And they leave there. You ask them, well, what did you learn from that? And they will say, it was a good service. And I believe that it's time for us as Bermudians to get to our full potential that God assigned for us. God said in the Bible, I knew you before you was formed in your mother's womb. Ooh, wow. That means that you and I had a relationship with God. God knows me. So God's already given me my assignment. It's time for me to get on with it. Your assignment is not to sit there and do nothing. Your assignment at this conference, we want to inspire, empower people, no matter what age you are, to get on and understanding your full potential in God.
And for someone hearing that phrase, what does it really mean to live fully in your God-given purpose?
Okay, I'll just give you an example. Years ago, I used to work for Corporation Fountain. I was a clerk, and I knew that wasn't my full potential. I needed to get on with it. I needed to find out what my full potential. So I left the job with no job. Because I needed to find out who was I. You gotta look in that mirror and say, shucks, man, this is just not kicking it for me. I get up every morning, I'm miserable, and I need to find out what God has assigned for me. So I looked in the mirror with my wife and said, okay, I don't have a job. I'm gonna create something. No money coming in, but we struggled. But as time went on and got educated and got under some mentors, I found out, you know something, I can actually do this if I set my mind to it. I have the support of my family, and it takes you. I told church on Sunday, At the end of the day, it's you. You've got to make up your mind that I want to know what is my potential. If you're a prayer warrior, be a prayer warrior. Don't try to be the pastor. If you are an intercessor, be the intercessor. I think that's where we mess up. We try to be someone else that we're not. Now, if you ask me to be the premier of Bermuda, I'm going to tell you no. That's not what I'm interested in. But you ask me to lead a church and guide a church through spiritual and young generation and feed people, that's me.
That makes absolute sense to me. I'm glad you used yourself in that example as well. Audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. So you're bringing some special people in, Bishop Gregory and Dr. Beverley Toliver from the U.S. What do they bring to this conference, and why was it important to include their voices?
They're very good friends of mine. Let me be transparent. They're very good friends of mine. They came to Bermuda a couple of times, but I think it was 2 years ago. This is why I love them. They came here to renew their wedding vows, and we done it in Cambridge area in the water. Renewing them. They are core value people. They don't come here with all their degrees and all that. They talk like just you and I. I believe bringing them in and the success they've had in life and the pitfalls. Success and pitfalls. Gregory is a school teacher now. You know, he's a pastor. He's a bishop. Awesome man of God, but he's a realist also. He can talk to you about how to obtain and what you need to get to be a school teacher. And then his wife, ooh, wow, you're going to enjoy her, and they're going to enjoy the experience she brings to the table. She's a woman that's adept, that took on other people's children. They call her mama. She has a huge business sense. She runs businesses in Denver. And her experience bringing to the table, they are not just preachers. They're like you and I, Jamal. They can talk down to the core values. They understand how it was paying a mortgage and sometimes not having the mortgage money. They understood putting your children back to school and not having enough money putting your children to school. They're a blended family, so they had to work together to be successful. I didn't want just a preacher. We wanted some people that can come in and talk to us. And from 6:30 worship service, 7 o'clock to up by 8 o'clock, we're going home. It's not a Wednesday, it's not long, because attention span of people is short. So we want to get the information. Those that want to stay behind and get more information, we're there for you. That's how we look at it. That's why it's so important for them to be here today in this conference.
There's also another special night highlighting a young Bermudian preacher. Why is create that space for emerging voices within the church?
Because they are a lot of times silent. Mama brings me to church, daddy brings me to church, grandma brings me to church, and a lot of times they sit there and they're silent. I remember when I was a young person going to church, the pastor used to say, "Okay, young people, we want a memory verse from you today." All of us used to fight to say the most famous memory verse, Jesus wept. Everybody wanted to say that. So my thing is, let's move the young people away from that and get them closer to a relationship with God, with a powerful young preacher and his new wife, and just got married recently, Caleb Minus, and his wife coming to preach to the young people. And I believe that night should be only the young people talking. We can hold over 100 people. I like to see over 100 young people. And guess what? We're gonna have some Kentucky Fried Chicken there for you with some French fries. Every young people still likes Kentucky Fried Chicken and French fries. So you can come hungry and we'll feed you. But it's for the youth. We want the youth to get empowered.
In today's world, many people seem to struggle with direction and identity. How can gatherings like this help individuals grow spiritually and gain clarity?
By being real. By being real. You look in that mirror, this gathering is going to get you to go inwardly to understand who you are. I was preaching a message 2 weeks ago on the mind and the brain. I asked the question, is the mind and the brain the same? And I said, God says to us, renew your mind daily. He said anything about the brain, say you renew your mind daily. And what we're saying to the young people and the older generation and generations my age and your age, you can make a difference if you just step out and make a difference. If you want to earn a trash truck business, earn it. If you want to earn a construction business, earn it. You want a security business, earn it. Whatever your heart desires, put your mind to it, remain focused, and get under the right leadership, right advice. You want to be a pastor, earn it. Earn what is for you. And the last thing on this particular topic is this: stop letting people discourage you. I was discouraged so many times, man. I could tell you, I could write a book on that. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do this. No, I made up my mind that I'm going to do what's necessary to make it easier for my wife and my children when they get older. They can see the success of life.
Indeed. Audience, if you have any questions or comments, you can send them through. Let's go to the audience now. We've got Michael Daniels says, how important is it to be religious, and what does being religious mean?
Good question. This is not about being religious. This is about serving God. People get these two mixed up. Religious, we are a religious country. That's who we are. But what I'm trying to get people to understand, I want you to come to serve God and get your understanding of who you are. If we're just going to be religious, then we're going to show up to church on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Our church don't do church Sundays. We do church on a Friday. Some may say, oh, that's not religious. But no, this is not about religion. It's about your heart. Serving God by your heart, your mind, your soul, and your body, your spiritual perspective of your life. And that's what God is calling us to do, is more being a servant. Jesus served the people. Matter of fact, Jesus said in the Bible, I am now your friend. So being a Christian, being a child of God, I'm got to be your friend. I'm got to want to serve you regardless of my titles, regardless of the religion that I follow, the denomination I follow. I am a servant of God.
With more and more people, I remember we had Dr. Simeon on, and I asked this question as well. With more and more people seemingly moving away from organized religion in particular, with Christianity being at that time in 2022, when I asked this, numbers declining more than any other religious following. What do you say to get people to believe again, or get them back on board with the movement of following Jesus Christ?
Sure. Let's go historical. I love history. Years ago, before I was born, before you was born, denominations were the thing. Everybody wanted to be involved in a big denomination. In the last, 10 years, people are finding out who they are and saying, wait a minute, I don't want to do that no more. I want to lead people and teach people. Go back years ago. How many people talked about unlocking your full potential? Because there was one leader, and that leader had it all. We followed what that leader done. The leader said, jump high, we jumped high. But today that's changed. We've got more astute and more educated in the Word of God, which empowers us to be who we are. So yes, you will have that breakaways and those coming independent. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's healthy. I think it's healthy. But also I think it's healthier too if you're under a denomination that holds core values of the Word of God. If you're going to pull out, make sure you're getting connected with another group that requires you to have those core values. Don't be independent and make up as you go. That's the danger of independence, in being independent. That you're so independent, you manage the money, you manage this, you manage that, but there's no core values, biblical values that you are leaning to. And I think it's important. Business core values in church is important. Unlocking your full potential as a business leader in the church is vital to unlock those potentials.
For anyone tuned in right now who feels they haven't yet tapped into their full potential, what encouragement would you offer, and how can they get involved in this conference?
All they need to do is show up. I can't overemphasize that. There is no cost. You may not even have an offering to give at the end. There is no cost. Show up 6:30 at Victory. Come on in, sit down, we'll worship. And if you need a one-to-one discussion, you want to talk to me one-to-one, the speakers one-to-one, just call me. 707-5515. Hey, Carlton, when I come, can I have a chance to talk to the speakers? I have some ideas. We want to hear from you, even though they are bringing the concepts, they're bringing the word of God, where it says in the word of God. It's important that you know that we will be available for you. And if you call now and say, can I come and talk to you over the phone? We will have a discussion with you. We want to see Bermudians be successful and stop us grumbling that our black men and our black women are not doing anything. Let's empower them to do it so they can be successful.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Dwayne Santucci says, it's too much crap going on in the church, and they don't deal with taking on the government and problems in our country like the pastors of old. Now, I've heard this comparison in public a lot, that it just seems like the church doesn't do enough to challenge or take on issues like they once did. Any response to that?
Sure. There's a time for everything in life. I don't disagree with Dwayne. Dwayne has made this statement clear before, but I'm not going to take on that challenge. Government will be government. That's around the world. My responsibility, knowing my full potential in God, is to deal with the people that come in my area of responsibility. I'm not going to march down the street. I'm not going to go to the premier and demand that he does this. I think there is a respect for both sides. Dr. Dwayne may not agree with me, but I think that sometimes we flog a horse because it used to be done that way. It's going to be done that way now. I think that we're more astute now. If I want to have a meeting with the premier or the government about an issue, we have it. But I don't think I need to take it out publicly. If the premier wants to have a meeting with the church leaders about a matter, he has it. And we need to stay, there's some boundaries we must all have. And once we understand our boundaries, we can be more effective. So if I get on the streets and start calling the premier names and what he's doing, but they're already doing that in politics. They don't need a preacher to do that. They don't need me to do that. You listen to politics on Fridays, but they're at it. They don't need a preacher to come and tell them that. But they need to hear from me. Carlton, can you come pray for us? Carlton, can you come and intercede for this problem that we have? That's our job. Let the politicians be politicians, and let us be spiritual advisors. And in our circles, we pray for the right decisions to be made. Every leader that we works in the kingdom, that is our mandate, that God convicts the politician to seek the face of God, and let God do his job. We got to stop trying doing God's job. That we pray, God requires us to pray. We pray, intercede, we fast, we seek the face of God, and we're seeing God turn some things around. But the things of old doesn't always apply today. One example. Internet didn't exist back then. Why would I get out in the middle of the street doing all that when I can just go on the internet and send my viewpoints? Internet exists now. So let's use let's use what God's given us to make change.
Indeed. We've got a couple comments. I'm going to go to Instagram because they don't come up. So I'm just going to read. Triumph Prevail on Instagram has said, it has to start in the home. I went to Sunday school every Sunday. So it starts in the home, raise a child the way it should go. And when they get old, they will not depart from it. And then we have Charles H. Jefferson II says, I believe that the government leaders have befriended many church leaders, and this has prevented the church leaders from calling them out publicly. They might be doing it privately. But getting back to the conference, Charles also says, will these services be streamed? How can those interested in attending let them know the dates, the times,
Sure.
how they...
The dates start on Wednesday, May the 13th, at 6:30 p.m. to about 8:15. It all depends how the Spirit moves. Goes to Thursday. There's 2 days that are specifically designed to talk to us about your full potential in God. Then on the Friday is the youth, all youth. Then on the Saturday, those that want to come to a breakfast, if you cannot afford $35, come and show up. We're going to feed male and females at our church. coffee and potato and a good meal for the women, and the man that likes egg and pancakes, etc. Then the Sunday morning, we're going up to Emmanuel Methodist Church. That's a church that I pastor. I assist them on a Sunday at 11 o'clock. Then a Sunday evening, we're closing down at Victory. We're not streaming online. I made the decision months ago to take us offline because what I'm finding out when it gets down to people's personal business, I want to respect their business when they're talking. Sometimes in the past, we've caught people talking about their personal life and people get involved in it, that we got to be careful not to put people's personal business online. So we made a decision as a church not to stream at this point in time, especially for this conference, because discussions will be held that some people want to keep it private. I hope that answers that question. And back to the other statement that was made. Days ago, pastors and preachers, ministers of the government done things differently. By a different generation. Well, I'm a different generation. And I'm a private person when it comes to my thoughts. I would rather do what I do best, respect, and I believe in respect to the up core. If you are my leader, for example, my leader in church is Bishop David Lamb. He's our administrative bishop. When he calls, I'm talking to him on a one-to-one. I don't need to tell the world what we're talking about. So I don't agree with how we used to do things. That's fine. But I believe it's a better way going forward. If you want, I've seen things change. I was involved in something, I won't call their names. We prayed and they got the success they needed. So I believe we cannot take everything from and say that, put it in the new way of God's moving and say it's going to work. It's not going to work. We must talk.
Indeed. Bishop Dr. Carlton Crockwell, we appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by, making time for us. Don't be a stranger. If there's anything that you'd like to communicate with this audience, just reach out. But we wish you the best. Just remind people before you head out how they can get in touch or learn more if they're interested in attending.
Sure. If they want to call me at 707-5515, we can take your calls anytime. I can walk you through any questions you have. You might have questions that you didn't want to ask over this medium, but you can give me a call. If I may just put a push for Mother's Day, every mothers have a happy Mother's Day. We're having a joint service on Sunday at Emmanuel Methodist Church, 11 a.m. Thank you very much for allowing us to come on, but this has been fantastic. Something new for me, never done it this way before. So I've been educated. So back to my point, the way we used to do it and the way we do it now is much more effective.
Appreciate you, sir. Have a wonderful day. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Thank you.
All right, folks. Carlton Crockwell, awesome conversation. If you appreciated the discussion and you're streaming with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We are going to take our final break. And after this break, we'll come back. We've got a daily play for you as well. And I'll wrap it up. Stick with us.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
All right, welcome back, and thanks to Bishop Dr. Carlton Crockwell for stopping by, trusting this platform to have this morning's discussion. I want to give a big shout out and great thank you to the BAC group of companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, are you ready? Here it is. It's a Name That Place. Let's get ready. Here you go. At 6,650 kilometers, which river is the longest in the world? Jewel Eve, it is the Nile River. Indeed. The Nile River is the longest in the world. Absolutely. I'm sure everyone got the answer. Yes, Stacey Ann Brown and Mishi. And oh, no, it's not the Amazon, Dr. Anthony Richardson. It's not. Now, it's interesting because although the volume of water the Nile River carries is actually much smaller than other major rivers such as the Amazon or the Congo. Yeah. But it is the longest. All right, audience. Let's wrap it up. Rosalind Famous, you are on the money as well. Let's wrap it up, though. All right. First of all, thank you all for rocking with us again this morning. As far as the conversation earlier about the cannabis and visitors, yes, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. Yes, Bermuda needs to adapt. But I would encourage anyone, when you are traveling to a place, to know the laws of the land. You know, just yesterday we were asking, do you use like a travel advisor or a travel agent when you travel, or do you book yourself? That's where actually travel advisors and travel agents come in handy, right? Helping you with the laws of the lands and stuff like that. They're like your legal representative in a way, right? So I would encourage anyone. We may disagree with the laws, but that doesn't mean we have an excuse to break the laws. And when we break the laws, there are consequences. Do I believe that people being charged and fined for cannabis possession could hurt Bermuda tourism? I don't. I really don't. I honestly do not believe it matters. But like most things, or some things, I could be wrong about that. At the end of the day, I think many people in the audience said it today. If nothing else, the government of Bermuda needs to provide clarity about its laws so that not just visitors, but Bermudians can understand as well. As far as the conversation with Dr. Carlton Crockwell, definitely appreciate him coming by. And audience, if you're able, available, and interested, go check out the conference. It sounds like it's going to be a spiritual revival. So get out there, support, and yeah, see what you can get out of it for yourself and the greater community. All right, this is book signing. Again, it's taking place at People's Pharmacy on May 17th at noon to 2 p.m. This is the first book of a series of 3, The Journey Within by myself. Here's today's quote, and I'm going to base it on something that Dr. Carlton Crockwell said earlier about slowing down. Quote, if we all made a conscious effort to slow down, take our time and pay attention, the chances of us getting to our destination safely would increase. Let's do better together. And that's your daily inspiration from The Journey Within, folks. All right, time to let you go, but please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5. We're ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.